You're looking at the new panels that were painted for this year and taped this to make a tutorial to show you some faster techniques. I know I did a tutorial a while ago, but this is a lot better and I think you're going to like it. It also shows you how to make these hell growth rooms and this cool skull room and a little focus on how to make realistic flames. The new technique is going to have your wall panel put in front of your projector twice. And so it's important to have the easel be in a solid same place. And so there is a 4x8 piece of plywood behind here with some cement blocks to keep it from moving. And the other new technique is, before I was talking about, don't paint over those lines. You need those as references. Well, forget that. If it's kind of just subtle lines, just go ahead and put the gesso right over it, because we're going to be airbrushing those black lines. You have to use your judgment now on where you want to put just solid gesso or leave some spaces. Like you see the clouds in the tree, that would have been a good idea to put gesso there, because you're just going to have to go back and paint it black again, and that's a lot of work. So use your best judgment. Now here you can do the second and third coats of gesso off the projector, so you don't have to have that bright blinding light in front of you. But I also wanted to show you, I tried to cheat and just do 2 coats of gesso. Well, that was a bad idea. On the right you see the 2 coats of gesso, and you see those brush strokes? Well, those still show because your fluorescent paint, some of them is a little translucent, and it'll show. So you gotta do 3 coats of gesso. This is a close-up of 1 coat, and you see what the gesso does with that landscape fabric. Landscape fabric is designed to wick water, right? Well, you want it to suck up the gesso to block that, so your expensive fluorescent paint doesn't get sucked into it and get wasted. So this is 1 coat of gesso, and this is 2 coats of gesso, and you see those brush strokes. Well, on your lighter fluorescent paints, those will show your yellow, reds, that kind of stuff. We've put our wall panel back in front of the projector, and now with your airbrush and black paint, outline it. And try to get as many details as you can, because it just helps you out in the long run. Outlining has been done. Let's turn off the projector, and you can see that you now have a coloring book page that you can fill in. I mean, how easy is this? The trick with these skulls is the illusion of 3D. So for the black outlining, also did a lot of the shading, because that's going to help you out. Skulls can be tricky to get that 3D depth, and so go ahead with your projector in front of it and cheat a little bit. This is the color blocking using that fluorescent paint, and have your reference material in front of you, because sometimes you start losing track of where's what if you didn't do like an obvious line like I did here. I'm like, where does the red go? Anyway. Continue to do coats and coats of the fluorescent paint until you get the coverage that you need. I wish I could tell you for you how much you're going to need, but it depends on how much you've thinned your fluorescent paint and the paint itself. So it was anywhere between 3 and 5 coats. See those brush strokes? Oh, I should have done 3 coats of gesso. Back to outlining. And you can see the initial outlining you did is still visible. Yay! So just kind of trace it over and then add in your shading. When you're shading, always decide on where your light source is going to be. Here, the light source was upper right. And so you shade where, if the light was coming down this way, there would be a shadow behind here. This helps really give these 3D illusions some added 3D to it. Not only the glasses, but your black shading also helps in that illusion. Then also add in any details that you need to kind of make it look more realistic. Here was adding some folds to make this green slime look even more slimy. Boy, the graveyard was just a lot of lines. Note to self, watch when you do trees. You got a lot of work ahead of you. Also, watch overspray. You see me using that piece of paper to keep the overspray. Well, when you're doing colors, it's a big problem too. So always try to keep it from getting onto your other panels. Depending on the color is depending on when you're doing your shading under fluorescent light or not. For the blue, the fluorescent light helped out a lot. Here, I'm bringing the background back by making it more black, adding in some illusion of rib bone. The phenomenal airbrush painter Ed Hubbs has this thing called realistic flames and these stencils he sells. And what you do is you just do a normal line and then you go back over it using the stencil to add more of a smoke illusion. Here using non-fluorescent white paint because I need to have a white canvas to make the flames stand out. Go back over the flames doing the same thing, this time using fluorescent yellow. So just kind of hand drawing the line. Just squiggle, squiggle. And don't follow the white that you have. You want to variate it. And then using your stencil again to add the smoke illusion to it. And then a new color, this is more of a clay to add a more fiery look to it. And finish off with big bright hits of white. All right, let's keep these skulls being as 3D as we can. We're now highlighting whatever would be protruding out with white. And also for all your panels, you are going to get overspray, and so bring it back down with the black. Well, here's that graveyard scene finished, and it looks phenomenal with the Chroma Depth glasses. I was pleased with the depth that you get. And then we've got, let's see, there they are, the Hell Growth Room. This is actually my favorite. Those things really look like they're protruding out of the wall. Yee! And then finally, we've got the Skull Room coming up. There it is. Hopefully it'll be very disorientating for the kids. These skulls will also be painted on the floor. Wow. And I've got 8 of these panels done. And let's give you a close-up of those flames. Well, thanks again, everybody, for watching this latest tutorial. And if you don't hear from me before then, have a great Halloween.